Andrew Wilson explodes on Joey Swole, a now former TikTok influencer, bodybuilder as well, and he goes nuclear on him based on the bad decision that he made and everything on deciding to go ahead and leave social media after the recent controversy. And Andrew Wilson has this discussion where he talks about the influencer Mr. Swole about his decision after the backlash that he received from the woke left. Now, Andrew Wilson and among others are criticizing him for his decision to go ahead and leave social media all in its entirety while bending the knee to the woke left. And Andrew Wilson is actually exploding on him as well as exposing him. So here we go with Andrew Wilson and this discussion on Joey Swole quitting social media.
Listen, I can post Hulk Hogan if I want to. Just because somebody makes a mistake in their life doesn't mean that they haven't done good things. I don't know what he did, and he said something 20 years ago and apologized for it. If you're going to attack me, you better go after the colored athletes and the people that are black and minority that went and posted him as well. Okay, the man was nice to me. He made a mistake. I'm not God. People make mistakes in life. If you got a problem with that, look at yourself. There's not one single person in here that hasn't made a mistake in their life. So, listen, I can.
So, initial reaction.
Well, I'm DMing him right now.
Joey Swole.
Yeah.
Saying what?
I'm going to ask him if he knows that maggots can become flies. I probably have to. I'm sorry. I have to. I have to do it.
You should ask yourself that.
Did you know that maggots can become flies? All right.
Are you actually going to?
Yeah, I just sent it.
Okay, that's funny. I'll give you that.
Okay, I just sent it to him, bro. I couldn't help myself.
So for those of you who are wondering, basically, honestly, he probably did send it to him, but at the same time, I mean, that's right there, that's showing that, you know, this whole thing is basically a farce and he shouldn't have done that. Well, not Andrew Wilson shouldn't have done that, but Joe Swole shouldn't have basically just flip-flopped on it and stuff.
Some sort of testicular fortitude shown there. We'll give him that. And then he comes out with this, which is just incredible. Along with a message saying, all the good I've done, all the people I've helped, all for nothing. When I need help, when I need kindness and empathy, nothing. I truly hope all the people I've inspired do great things in their life and pay it forward to help others and carry on my message. But no matter how good you do, no matter how many people you help, they just wait for a reason to hate you and tear you down. It's true. You either die a hero or live long enough to be the villain. Thank you for your support. Please remember me and smile. Like he's dying. I love you all. I'm done.
Do you know what the difference is between performative masculinity and non-performative masculinity?
Yeah, performative masculinity, I'm assuming, is going to be that you have to sort of speak about it all the time and you have to tell people about your masculinity and your virtue all the time. But non-performative masculinity would be more just doing the actions and moving in silence.
Well, I mean, that you could have one takeaway that's that way, but performative masculinity would be like, I lift heavy thing, right? And I lift heavy thing better than you, right? But there's no virtue in lifting heavy thing in and of itself, right? There could be virtue in lifting heavy thing in certain situations, I guess, but there's no virtue in and of itself, right? So gym bros, they often kind of get this rep for being performatively masculine, but not true masculine, meaning while they can perform well, they can lift heavy thing, right? What's that really got to do ultimately with the achievement of masculinity itself? The reason that Swole is getting so beat over the head about this, he's getting so beat up about this, is because people now see him as being performatively masculine. Meaning, yeah, that's great, man. You're super ripped and buff and you can lift heavy shit, and that's great. But when the mob came for you, you capitulated immediately to a bunch of people's feelings and this and that. Whereas I can point to weak nerds, weak dorks who can't hardly, I don't know, open a jar, who would never in a million years capitulate to a woke mob and would instead stand their ground, tell them all to go themselves. And that is why this guy is getting so roasted right now, why it is that so many people are pissed off at him.
Yeah, this is a real thing in the gym community as well. because you call it being big for nothing. So these guys are big, but like aesthetic wise, but on the inside, they're just as soft as butter. This is a big thing in the sort of lifting bro community. You really can't look at aesthetics and a guy who works out a lot and think that he's a tough guy or a masculine guy. That's a big mistake.
Yeah, well, it's not just that, but the problem, the other problem with this is like, what are you trying to encapsulate with masculinity? If it's the case that you think that what masculinity encapsulates is simply a person who is physically strong in and of itself, then you've missed the entire point of the difference between men and women, the masculine and feminine altogether. Do I agree that men on average are physically stronger than women? Yes. And that they have the potential to be many times stronger than the average woman. And even that men should care about their health and take care of themselves, and that could be all forms of masculinity. Yes. But that really has nothing to do with anything. When it counted, when it came to it, right? Audie Murphy, the most decorated hero of World War II, was like 5'8" or 5'6". Okay. He was skinny as a rail. He weighed 135 pounds and he moved down 130 Germans in a single setting. Okay.
Seems to me that Andrew Wilson is stating that, Joey Swole probably should have done better than to make the decision than to actually quit social media than to bend the knee to the woke left.
Is when he did not.
Yeah, and there's so many layers to this as well, which we'll get into.
I owe my followers, my community, and all of social media an apology. A few days ago, I reposted an old video of me in the gym wearing a Hulk Hogan Halloween costume on the day that he passed. Last night in my live stream, a lot of people expressed how upset and frustrated they were with me that I had posted that. Instead of listening and understanding like I should have, I became defensive and said that I was posting to celebrate the wrestling icon, the person that so many of us looked up to as
dog. Nasty. It's I could barely take. This chatter made a great point in chat. You want to summarize the whole thing? It's not about biceps. It's about balls.
That's a great one. Yeah.
It's not about biceps. It's about balls. I don't care about the size of your arms. You know what I mean? Where's your guts? Where's your guts to face down the mob? Where's your guts to tell them to go themselves? Where's their guts to tell them you ain't going to back down a single inch from any of them? Where's your balls? You know what I mean? That's what, and that, I think that chatter summarized it the best way possible. It's not about your bicep, man. It's about your guts. Where's your guts,
Hell
dude?
yeah, brother.
Yeah, dude. What's the point of being big if when you're in the trenches, you back down or you run away? What's the point of being? There is no point in that whatsoever. I would so much rather have a dude next to me in the trenches who's skinny as a rake and small, but ready to have my back and ready to, and who you know is not going to throw you under the bus as soon as it gets tough.
Yep.
kids that we grew up with that made us tear our shirts and take our vitamins and say our prayers. I didn't know to the extent of all the horrible things that he had done.
Shut the fuck up, dude. Shut up. First of all, right? Who cares? Even if this guy did the most horrible things in the world, Joey Swole was not following Hulk Hogan because he knew anything about Hulk Hogan's history with the N-word or any horrible thing Hulk Hogan ever done. He was inspired by things that he saw. He was inspired by his physique. He was inspired by his confidence, probably. He was inspired by his charisma, inspired by all these things. You know what I mean? You can't take that away from Hogan, even if you don't like the things that he said. It's still okay to be inspired, even by bad people. They can sometimes have characteristics which you admire.
And that's true. I mean, obviously, it seems to me that he doesn't really consider the fact that, you know, it's like he bent the knee to the woke left and everything because of the fact that, you know, he seems to me that, you know, he cares a little too much about people, too deeply about people and everything, to the point where it actually compromises his values and his morals. That right there is not good at all. Okay. So it shows right there that, you know, he doesn't really lack the courage and stuff, or say the least, of what Andrew Wilson has said, but at the same time, I mean, it's like quitting social media altogether and stuff and apologizing to the woke left who don't even care about your apology and stuff, won't even forgive you, will actually just, be there to continue to tear you down and cancel you and everything until you're gone. And basically, he definitely gave them the very thing that they wanted. Okay, so the woke left is never forgiving and stuff unless they change their life around and turn to Christ. And the fact of the matter is that he shouldn't have done that at all. He should have just stuck to his guns and kept going with, he made a mistake years ago and stuff. But apparently the pushback and the backlash was too much for him. So he decided to go ahead and quit social media. Just go ahead and, well, honestly, I don't know the actual intent of him for quitting social media, but that's not my concern at the same time.
Yeah, 100%. And I just think it's so cowardly after somebody dies and somebody who inspired you and who helped you to sort of reach the levels that you've reached in life, to just throw them under the bus when they die. It's just such a repulsive thing to see in a man.
What's really funny is Ozzy Osbourne, right? A junkie his entire life, playboy, coomer, degenerate in every capacity you could ever imagine. He was a degenerate, cooming lunatic, right? A couple weeks before he died, they had him put up on a stage. He demanded that they carry a chair in of him. And he was going to have his last ballad, man. He was going to have his last concert, and he didn't give a flying about nothing. You, said Ozzy Osbourne. You. And you know what? If I sang like this whole concert, you just hold your lighters. Just hold your lighters, because the king is here, baby. Right? And they carried his ass off the stage, and it was regaled in all of the heavy metal journals and in all the rock journals and all the newspapers as Ozzy's farewell was just a banger. It was just a banger, right? Again, right? You kind of quietly, you know what I mean? Out of the limelight, this type of thing. And it's like, but he had all of the traditional masculine physique, all of that, you know what I mean? But Ozzy Osbourne was the one who ended up dying the badass. The ideas here, I think, get conflated so often with what the masculine really is. And what this guy's doing right now, the capitulation to the mob, is sickening. It's sickening.
Yeah. I think there is another level to the outrage with Hulk Hogan, but we'll get into that.
I have done a lot of research, talked to a few people, and learned all of the horrible, horrible things that man has done, which is way more than just making a mistake and being human. So because of that, I have taken the videos down, and I apologize to anybody that I offended. I am sorry.
And at this moment, he
was
himself right in the foot and was career basically over.
Apologize.
Yep. Done.
You want to know where I learned this lesson about apologies?
Yep.
This is years ago, before I was ever an online figure. There was this story about a dentist who went to Africa and he killed a famous lion named Cecil. Okay, he killed this lion. Now, he paid for the hunt, and the lion was going to die anyway, and he went out there with a bow and he killed this lion, and he came back, and the left vegans and even the right wing, like conservationists, were just... They doxed his dentistry. They were threatening to kill him. They just horrible things they were doing to this guy over this lion. And I remember my dad, my based father, right? We were listening to this story, and he had his feet kicked back in his lazy boy as he was eating I don't know, something my mom made him. And he said, what's funny, son? And I said, what? And he said, what he should do is he should take that lion's head and spike it right in front of his house. Spike it right in front of his house and then say, you, I killed this lion. I'm going to go kill his brother tomorrow. He said, and then every liberal on planet Earth would shut their mouth. And he was right. Yeah. Right. The whole idea here being like, it's no fun for them. It's no fun for them anymore if you double down. It's no fun for them if you go, yeah, I shot this lion. What are you going to do about it? They lose interest immediately because you're not a soft target. What he did was he made himself now a soft target. And even if he comes out tomorrow and he says, hey, you know what? Actually, I changed my mind and all of you. It doesn't matter now.
That's definitely true because once you made a decision to quit social media, people are still going to remember you for not only the fact that you did it, but they're also going to try to figure out why you've done it. Okay, so Andrew Wilson definitely tore into Joey Swoll due to the fact that he didn't, have the enough courage to go ahead and ignore the backlash and stuff, stick to his guns after the original video that he made and stuff. But he actually, and he shouldn't have, really apologized for that. He should have just kept going and stuff. But if that's the case, then why would you even do that in the first place? I mean, he said that Hulk Hogan was his inspiration and stuff, and Andrew Wilson definitely tore him into him for that, for bending the knee to the woke left out there and stuff, who made videos about him. He had a lot of supporters behind him too, and that's the very thing that Andrew Wilson destroyed him over. So yeah, basically this was everything that's being done and said. Let me know your thoughts about this in the comments below on whether you agree with Andrew Wilson actually exploding on TikTok influencer and went completely nuclear in the